Hey Hero fans, this is Todd. So I was playing with my action figures and I couldn't figure out a way to make these two action figures stand up, Rotar and Twistoid. And I tried to, so you can see they have these bases on them that they already include. When you pop the base off, it just ends up falling over. There's no way to actually make the figure stand as if it's in a battle pose, twisting around. The other figure, when you pop the base off, you can actually use his arms because they're longer to try to hold him up, but it just does not work for the good guy. If you use the good guy and try to use his arms, he leans over so far it just looks ridiculous, and they can't hold their weapons. So I've tried many ways to make cool stands for these. I even went out and bought the Red Tornado action figure and tried to use his base as a stand, but it just didn't work quite right. So I was drinking water out of my bottle and realized that the top of the bottle might make a pretty good stand. So I figured if I could just take some scissors and cut off the top and cut the middle of it, then I'd have a nice kind of triangular shaped stand in order to hold these guys up. Now I did try this a couple times, and I found that if you cut the bottom of it at the lowest point where it's the widest, where the curve starts to go up, the angle, that's the best way. So let's get the top off, and then we'll cut the rest, and I'll show you guys. Now I'm going to speed the video up so you're not stuck here watching me, because it actually took me a long time to cut these just right. I've actually done quite a few of them now. I've made some shorter ones too for more of a leaning pose, but there's some really cool ways to do that. So here's the part when it's cut off before you make it the right size. And of course you want to check the height as you go along, because if it's too tall, then of course it's not going to sit so it looks like his like they're spinning in place, like they're floating. So just make sure you make your cuts nice and straight. Check to make sure it's flat as you go along. And you can see it's still not quite enough, so I continue cutting. Now if you cut the top, whatever the distance is going to double, just because now you're changing it and moving it up higher in the figure because of the angle. If you cut the bottom, whatever you cut off is going to be exactly what you cut off. So make sure that whatever you do, you make this flat when you make your cuts. It's a little difficult to do the first time you do it. Just have lots of extra water bottles ready so you can keep testing it out till you just get the right exact height to make this work. It might take a while to cut around. Just keep checking and get the height just right. And remember, the top will double the height difference and the bottom will keep it the same. Because as you cut the top, it also changes on the angle. So that's how it should look when you're done. Notice the bottom part's just barely touching, and you could do some angularity on it. And here's how it looks on the other figure. And again, you want that bottom piece touching so it looks like he's actually in battle. I'm going to make another one now, because obviously we need two, one for each figure. Again, just cut the top off. And after you get the top off, make sure it's smooth, there's no rough edges. Cut all the way around until it's a nice and the same height all the way around, nice and smooth. Then you want to cut off the bottom as well. And again, you want to cut it to the point of where the angle begins going up. So you have the widest angle across the bottom to give you the most support for the figure. And again, cut it till it's nice and smooth. Just keep going around so it's about the right height. And again, you can keep checking it with the figure to make sure you got it just right. That's the key, is keep checking it. And remember, if you cut the top, it brings it down twice as much. If you cut the bottom, then it brings it down to the actual dimension. We want to keep cutting the top, though, so we can keep the bottom as wide as possible. Because you don't want to start making the bottom part narrow, because then he'll fall over easier. We need lots of support. These figures are very top-heavy. Alright, and it seems to about work for both figures. So let's pose these guys. I guess a little more off the top would probably be good. Now, of course, these are sharp scissors, so be careful not to cut yourself. Get it just right. He's set up. Now let's use the other one, get him set up, and there they are. They are ready for battle. Alright, thanks for watching.